I'm sorry, I'm just like really, I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck. During those years, you're still stuck 21 years later.
It started as a whisper in the accounting offices, just a tiny footnote in a routine financial disclosure from one of Sean Diddy Combs' lesser-known holding companies. But a few sharp-eyed journalists spotted something strange, a wire transfer from Steve Harvey's business entity, routed discreetly through an affiliate connected to Combs. The payment was vague in its description, large enough to raise eyebrows, and timed just after the FBI raids on Diddy's homes hit national headlines. On its own, maybe it was nothing, but when you factor in what insiders are now alleging, that Harvey was buying back footage of himself from one of Diddy's private party tapes, it starts to reek of desperation and possibly damage control.
So I don't give them no energy. I give haters no energy. Steve ain't this, he think he this. You don't even know me.
We're talking about Steve Harvey here, the motivational kingpin, Mr. Think Like a Man, the guy whose face is practically engraved on daytime television. For someone so squeaky clean to move that kind of money in the direction of Diddy, a man now known as much for federal indictments as platinum records, something must have rattled him.
So I just keep going through. But then I'll tell you something too, haters motivate me. Because when they talking about me, that means I'm doing something.
Rumors suggest Harvey wasn't just making a payment, he was scrambling, specifically to make sure a certain video never sees the light of day, and if what we're hearing is true, that video wasn't some innocent behind-the-scenes blooper. It was taken at one of Diddy's now infamous off-the-grid celebrity parties, where the drinks flowed like rivers, where no one expected cameras to be rolling, except Diddy allegedly filmed everything. That's been the whisper in the industry for years, that Diddy has a vault, a private library of after-hours footage featuring celebrities in settings they'd rather not revisit, much less have aired in courtrooms or news feeds. These weren't your average award show after-parties. We're talking sprawling mansions with no security cameras on the books. But somehow, every room had an eye. Rumors say there were wild outfits, wild behavior, and guests indulging in things they'd never want their kids or brands or spouses to know about. Some insiders claim the mogul used these tapes like insurance policies. Others say it went further than that this was how he maintained loyalty, silence, and fear, a shadowy kind of power, hidden behind velvet ropes and mirrored ceilings.
Because he your father, and you feel empty without him. That's why, see, sometimes when you grow up, you need to hear both sides.
So when Steve Harvey's name popped up in a payment trace to a Diddy shell company, naturally people started asking questions. What did Harvey do at those parties? What did he think Diddy might still have on tape? And why did he need that footage gone now of all times? Right as Diddy faces serious federal sentencing and his alleged victims are naming names? According to several entertainment lawyers off the record, it's not unheard of for celebrities to clean house during legal storms. But what's unusual here is how specific the payment seems to be. A quiet, off-the-books retrieval. Not a settlement, not a licensing deal, just a disappearance fee. And here's where things get messier, because this isn't just about Steve. It's about his entire public brand, one built on family values, Christian principles, and long-suffering marriage wisdom. A scandal like this wouldn't just hurt him. It would fracture the Harvey household. That brings us to Marjorie. She's no stranger to tabloid attention, with her murky romantic past including ex-husbands tied to high-level trafficking rings and her love story with Steve often held up as a redemption arc. But if rumors are true, this video could contain more than just Steve sipping something he shouldn't have been. There's speculation that the footage includes interactions, let's say inappropriate closeness, with other guests, possibly of the female variety, possibly even involving Steve's wife.
When it comes to dating, Lori ain't got a damn thing. I got.
Now let's be clear, no one has confirmed what's on this tape, but the urgency of the payment, the legal silence surrounding it, and the sudden reemergence of old rumors, like Marjorie's supposed involvement with a personal bodyguard or a family chef, make the timing awfully suspicious. Remember when Harvey snapped back at those cheating allegations with "find something else to do"? Yeah, well, the internet did. And they found this. Whatever Steve wanted hidden bad enough to pay for, it sure wasn't a blooper reel from Family Feud. Then there's Lori Harvey, the stepdaughter, the fashion star, the red carpet darling, but also the woman who, if you rewind to 2019, was entangled in an eyebrow-raising situation involving Diddy himself. She and the hip-hop mogul were seen traveling together, matching outfits, dinner with Steve and Marjorie in Italy, even rumors of an engagement. All this came after Lori had reportedly dated Diddy's son, Justin. The optics were wild then, but now, in the wake of Diddy's legal chaos and the alleged contents of his vault, It's become something else entirely. Sources close to the situation say that Lori's past connection to Diddy may have been exactly what gave him leverage over Steve.
Her mother is 54 years old. Her mother is 5 years older.
Let that sit for a moment, because what we're hearing is this. Diddy allegedly reminded Steve, through private intermediaries, that Lori had been in his circle, that she'd been to those parties, that she might have appeared in those tapes. And if Harvey didn't want any of that to become the next viral courtroom headline, he needed to make a decision. Pay or pray. Now, did Diddy outright blackmail him? That's the question on everyone's mind. Of course, without a smoking gun, it stays in the realm of speculation. But think about it. If a father is told there's footage, real or fabricated, of his daughter in compromising situations with a man twice her age, a man now facing multiple civil suits, wouldn't he do just about anything to erase it? Even if the footage never gets released, even if it never existed in the first place, just the threat could be enough. That's what makes Diddy's alleged empire so terrifying to some in Hollywood, because it's not about proof, it's about pressure. No one wants to be the next headline, the next viral clip, the next deposition. So the payments happen quietly, the favors get called in, and the secrets stay buried. Until they don't.
To like check me and be like, hey, like, what you doing? You good? You need to shake out of it, and maybe be like, okay, yeah, you're right, I'm tripping, I'm good, regardless.
And if Lori Harvey really was the key, it wouldn't be the first time she found herself in a strange triangle involving Diddy and his family. The whispers about her dating Justin Combs, Diddy's own son, started first. But when Lori was suddenly spotted traveling with Diddy himself in 2019, attending fashion events, lunching in Italy with Steve and Marjorie, and even wearing coordinated outfits with the mogul in NYC, the internet lit up. At the time, both camps played coy, never confirming the relationship, but behind the silence, the tension was impossible to ignore. Lori had just been linked to the son, and now she was being photographed with the father. A source told one outlet, people jumped to their own conclusions, but honestly, what other conclusions were there to draw? The optics alone were wild. A 22-year-old socialite and model seen holding hands with a 49-year-old industry titan, one who also happened to be a close family friend, and yet somehow Steve Harvey never publicly addressed it, not once. Not even when fans flooded his social media asking if he was okay with it, or how it fit into the brand he so carefully curated. Some even joked that this wasn't in his relationship book. But what if it wasn't a joke? What if Steve stayed silent, not out of indifference, but because he couldn't afford to say anything?
Oh, God, this host.
That's where the rumors take a darker turn. Several insiders now allege that Lori's closeness to Diddy wasn't just romance, it was leverage. A subtle but effective move by a man who knew how to exploit personal connections for control. The kind of move that would put the Harvey family in checkmate without firing a single shot. If Diddy had footage of Lori in private settings, willing or not, and Steve knew about it, the power balance would shift instantly. This wasn't just a threat to Steve's public image, it was an attack on his entire household. And speaking of the Harvey household, let's not forget the elephant in the room. Steve and Marjorie's marriage has already been circling the gossip drain for years. The cheating rumors have been brutal. Bodyguards, chefs, mysterious men with checkered pasts, and a swirl of speculation that Marjorie was gearing up for a divorce settlement north of $200 million. Both Steve and Marjorie denied it publicly. Steve stood on stage and said, "We fine, Lord have mercy." But something about it felt rehearsed, as if he was trying to convince himself as much as the audience.
I can't really tell you what's wrong with kids, but I can tell you what the hell wrong with parents.
Now add this latest twist. Diddy allegedly holding incriminating footage, Steve sending payments through corporate backdoors, Lori caught in the crosshairs, and suddenly that marriage looks less like a love story and more like a hostage situation. What if Diddy had something on Marjorie too? Her past relationships were already under scrutiny, with reports tying her to two separate figures accused of high-level trafficking operations. One of them even claimed in his memoir that federal agents had dirt on Marjorie but made a deal to keep her clean. If Diddy had unearthed even a whisper of footage connecting her to behavior that reinforced those old suspicions, it would have been catastrophic. So was Steve Harvey's mysterious payout really about just one video? Or was it a last-ditch effort to keep his entire empire from collapsing? The talk shows, the books, the brand deals, the carefully engineered image of a God-fearing family man, gone with one leak. It's not hard to imagine him staring down two impossible choices: let the footage go public and watch his legacy burn, or quietly pay off the man holding the match.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers described the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious sex trafficking charges in a New York.
But here's where it gets even more unsettling, because as the legal noose tightens around Diddy, the usual rules no longer apply. With over 60 civil lawsuits pending and prosecutors pushing for a possible 2-decade sentence, sources say Diddy's resources are drying up. His legal fees are skyrocketing, his businesses are fracturing. Some former associates claim he's become more erratic, less careful, more willing to throw bombs to distract from his own collapse. If that's true, then no amount of hush money may be enough. Steve Harvey's payment might have bought silence for a season, but it didn't buy loyalty. And what if Diddy sees the footage as a weapon he can still use? To scare others, to remind the rest of Hollywood that the vault still holds secrets. Even if the Harvey tape never leaks, the threat alone keeps everyone in line. Imagine a public leak of Lori and Diddy during one of their 2019 trips. Mexico, Italy, Manhattan, Miami. Even the suggestion of intimacy, of blurred lines, would spark a media firestorm, not just for Lori, but for Steve, for Marjorie. For every deal, Steve is still negotiating behind the scenes.
He cornered me. And then he asked me, with his arm up, he asked me, "How you doing?" I'm kind of like, wow, this is, what the heck? Very uncomfortable. And then he rubbed his hand down my breast. He said, "If you need anything at all, you let me know."
For years, whispers about Diddy's Vault have echoed through back channels of the entertainment industry like a myth no one dared confirm, but everyone feared. Allegedly stored in multiple encrypted drives, physical safes, and private servers, the vault is rumored to contain countless hours of private footage captured during his most lavish invitation-only parties. But these weren't home videos. According to several former employees and party regulars, Diddy's compound events were designed like traps, glamorous, intoxicating, and saturated with excess. Guests were encouraged to relax, indulge, and forget the cameras they didn't know were rolling. Some say the vault is his true empire, not built on music, fashion, or spirits, but on silence purchased through fear. If true, this archive wouldn't just be damaging, it would be explosive. Imagine a curated library of compromising footage featuring A-list actors, Grammy-winning artists, fashion icons, and political insiders caught in moments they believed would never leave those walls. Some might be doing things illegal, others simply humiliating. The vault's power isn't in what's on tape, it's in who thinks they're on tape. That uncertainty becomes a psychological weapon, a quiet form of control. Those who once benefited from Diddy's network may have stayed close, not out of loyalty, but out of dread. Because when you're not sure if he has something on you, you act like he does.
Afraid of coming forward. They've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
This theory paints a darker picture of how power functions in Hollywood's elite circles. Not through talent or even money, but through secrets. A quiet handshake, a midnight favor, a message passed through a mutual friend. It's a subtle form of social blackmail, woven into the very fabric of stardom. And Diddy, if these stories are true, played the role of ringmaster for decades. He didn't need to threaten people directly. His reputation did the talking. His parties became whispered cautionary tales. Show up and you might rise faster, but stay too long and you'd never be free again. It also raises a bigger question: how many of Hollywood's stars owe their success or their silence to what they've buried? The existence of such a vault suggests a system that doesn't just enable bad behavior, it incentivizes it. Participation became currency, compromise became leverage, and Diddy, as both host and archivist, stood at the center. What looked like a lifestyle brand was possibly a sophisticated surveillance operation dressed in designer suits. And while the public saw luxury and laughter, insiders saw something else. A trap wrapped in velvet.
It is alarming how many people came through his orbit. How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long?
At its core, this isn't just about Diddy. It's about the entire architecture of fame built on masks, manipulation, and unspoken rules. The vault, if it exists, is more than just a collection of scandalous clips. It's a symbol of the moral decay behind the curtain, a reminder that in a world obsessed with image, what's captured in private can become more powerful than anything posted online. And if the vault ever cracks open, it won't just end careers, it could force Hollywood to reckon with its own reflection. The domino effect would be brutal. Brand partnerships would vanish overnight, Family Feud gone, syndicated reruns canceled, book deals frozen, and all of it under the shadow of a man awaiting sentencing, locked up in Brooklyn, still pulling strings through sealed drives and silent threats. At this point, we have to ask, how many more tapes are out there? If someone as guarded, powerful, and media-trained as Steve Harvey got caught in Diddy's web, who else is stuck? Executives, athletes, A-listers with clean images and dark weekends? The whispers say Diddy filmed everything, not just at his parties, but in private jets, overseas retreats, hotel penthouses. A whole generation of stars may be sitting on ticking time bombs, praying their moment never comes. And here's the chilling truth we can't ignore. If Diddy decides to start naming names, leaking files, or burning bridges out of spite or survival, it won't just be 1 or 2 reputations that go up in flames. It could be dozens, maybe hundreds. This isn't just a celebrity scandal anymore, it's a powder keg.
Well, the things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
So now we turn it over to you. If Hollywood's biggest names are trapped in Diddy's vault of secrets, how many careers, families, and reputations are one hard drive away from destruction? Who do you think is next? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We're only scratching the surface. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, nothing in Hollywood stays hidden forever.